In the middle of a quiet world sits Luma Vale, a broad valley filled with soft square hills, gentle terraces, and low block-shaped trees that glow faintly at dusk. The stones are smooth and rounded at the edges, even though each one still looks like it came from a giant chisel. The air always smells a little like warm clay, and every sound feels padded. Nothing moves too fast here. Even the breeze drifts more than it blows. People who visit Luma Vale say the land feels like it exhales around you, like it's glad you're here. Tonight, the valley waits for a visitor. A lone traveler named Myron walks along the soft path that leads into the valley. Myron isn't in a hurry. No one really is in this world. They carry a square pack made of stitched leaf cloth, and they wear a scarf woven with tiny glimmer threads that catch the moonlight. Myron steps into Luma Vale near twilight. The sky holds that quiet blue color that looks like it forgot to turn dark. Fireflies drift between the blocky reeds. The ground feels warm, like it was holding the sun for later. Myron pauses, takes a long breath. The moment stretches. They've heard stories about this place. Stories that say that the valley helps people who wander through it sleep more deeply, or think more clearly, or breathe more softly. Myron doesn't need all that. They just want to rest. A soft creature approaches, moving with slow, gentle hops. It looks like a round little puff of fur perched on two cube-shaped feet. The creature's eyes glow a faint lavender. This is a plumpling. It makes a tiny sound, almost like a hum. Myron kneels. Hello there. The plumpling bumps its head against their pack, curious but calm. Its fur rustles like folded paper. It decides Myron is acceptable company and waddles along beside them. A little farther along, lanterns appear in the distance. They hang from posts carved into soft squares, each one glowing with warm peach light. The lanterns were made by Caro, the valley's builder. Caro lives in a round cornered house at the heart of the vale. She builds everything from stacked clay blocks and polished stone cubes. She paints the surfaces with slow, patient strokes that always manage to look like dawn is rising on them. Myron follows the lantern path until they reach her home. The plumpling hops up to the small porch, turns in a circle, and flops down. Caro steps out. Her hair is tied in loops with leaf string, and she wears blocky wooden bracelets that click very softly when she moves. Well, look who wandered in, she says with a slow smile. Hungry? Tired? Lost? Or just looking for quiet? Myron nods, mostly quiet. Carl lifts an eyebrow. Then you came to the right place. Luma Vale excels at quiet. She leads Myron inside to a small sitting room where the chairs look carved but feel soft, as if they'd been sanded 1,000 times. A kettle sits on a square stove, steaming lightly. I make a brew from dream reed stems, Caro says. Helps the mind float. Myron sits. The plumpling hops in, plops near their foot, and falls asleep almost instantly. Carl pours tea. They drink in silence. When Myron finally speaks, their voice sounds softer. Does the valley always feel like this? Caro nods. Always. That's why people stay longer than they mean to. But Luma Vale doesn't mind. It likes guests. The kettle pops once, a tiny, polite sound. The moment sits, warm and slow. After resting a while, Myron steps outside to stretch their legs. Caro assures them the valley paths are easy and safe, even at night. The moon rises like a square coin behind soft clouds. It paints the hills in pale silver layers. Myron walks a simple path into the dream groves, where the trees grow in tidy cubes. Their leaves glow with soft teal light. Whenever a breeze passes, tiny bits of lumina dust drift off the leaves like sleepy fireflies. Myron reaches out, brushing a tree gently. The lumina dust floats upward. The plumpling waddles through the grove, each hop releasing tiny puffs of sparkling pollen from the moss. They walk deeper, the grove humming lightly, like it remembers old stories, but whispers them only to the trees. Every step settles Myron's thoughts. Their shoulders sink in relief. Their breath grows slower. Here, there is no urgency, no noise, no sharp edges, just a soft world. Farther along, Myron hears a faint trickle, not rushing water, but a gentle murmur like water thinking about moving. They reach Squarefold River, a winding stream shaped in tidy turns. The stones under the water glow softly, and because of that glow, the whole river looks lit from beneath. A creature rises from the water. It's long and smooth and shaped like 3 stacked rectangles. It blinks sleepy blue eyes. This is a flowfin, one of the river's friendly drifters. The flowfin lifts its head in greeting, no faster than a drifting cloud. Myron kneels. Hello. The flowfin nudges a stone toward them, a small cube, warm from the river. These stones are said to help people sleep, though no one knows why. Myron accepts it, thanks the creature, and pockets the stone. The flowfin dips back underwater and drifts away. The plumpling watches it for a moment, then curls up on the bank, perfectly content with the world. Myron sits beside the creature. They listen to the river breathe. Time slows. Caro later shows Myron a guest cabin she built from pale clay blocks. The corners are rounded, the roof slants gently, and lantern cubes hang from little hooks carved into the frame. Inside, the bed looks like woven bark, but feels soft as a cloud. The pillows are stuffed with feather floss from valley birds. Myron sets their pack on the floor, placing the river stone on a ledge near the window. It glows faintly. The plumpling hops onto the bed, circles twice, then sinks into sleep so deeply its little legs poke straight out like sticks. Myron lies down, their eyes close, open again, close. Something inside finally unwinds. The soft lantern hums. Outside, the valley breathes in long, slow rhythms. Morning comes slowly. Luma Vale is never in a rush. The sky turns pale yellow, then soft gold, then a gentle orange. Myron wakes to find the plumpling snoring in tiny squeaks. The river stone glows with a faint morning warmth. They step outside and find Caro tending to a tiny garden made from stacked soil cubes, each one sprouting a small leaf or flower. Caro waves. You sleep well? Myron nods, letting out a long breath. Better than I have in months. Good. The valley usually knows what people need. The air smells like dew and clay. Caro hands Myron a small clay cup of warm herb broth. They sip it, letting the calm flavor settle in their chest. Explore as long as you like, Caro says. No tasks here, no deadlines, just the land, the air, and whatever you're looking for. That evening, Myron walks into the starlit plain, a wide field where the grass grows in neat cubes and lights up in patterns when stepped on. Each step creates a gentle glow that fades slowly, like ripples from a pebble in water. Myron walks in long, slow paths, creating drifting trails of light. The plumpling follows, stepping carefully to make tiny glowing dots. Above them, the sky reveals thousands of gentle stars. A breeze moves through the grass, making tiny sounds like pages turning in a book. This place feels made for thinking or not thinking. Either works. Myron lies down on a warm, flattened patch of glowing grass. The plumpling curls against their side like a sleepy pillow. The stars shift, the grass glows, the world feels like a warm blanket. Later that night, Caro invites Myron to her workshop. Inside, shelves hold dozens of little models made from clay cubes. Small houses, trees, rivers, even tiny versions of creatures like the plumpling and flowfin. Caro works slowly on a new model, shaping cubes with gentle pressure. I build these to understand the valley better, she says. Not to control it, just to listen to it. Myron watches her hands move. Everything she does feels intentional, thoughtful, peaceful. Caro shows Myron how to press soft clay into blocks, how to carve lines with a wooden tool, how to stack them into shapes. They build together in silence. The plumpling falls asleep under the table with its little legs twitching like it's dreaming of hopping. Late into the night, the the valley begins its quiet song. Luma Vale doesn't speak with words. It speaks with hums and small tones that drift through the air. The stones in the hills vibrate just a little. The trees hum a low note. The reeds whisper tiny melodies. It's not music, not exactly. More like the sound of a world remembering itself. Myron sits outside the cabin listening. Caro joins them. The valley sings every night. What's it singing about? Myron asks. Caro shrugs gently. No one knows. Maybe it sings for the creatures. Maybe it sings for us. Maybe it sings because it has nothing else to do. The sound settles into Myron's bones. It feels like a lullaby from the earth itself. The plumpling, already half asleep, melts into a fuzzy puddle of comfort. Myron spends another day exploring. They find the meadow of soft echoes, a wide stretch of pale grass. It carries sound in a strange way. When Myron speaks, the echo returns softer than the original, like the meadow edits the voice for calmness. Myron laughs quietly. The echo returns as a warm sigh. They lie down, hands behind their head, watching clouds drift in square patches across the sky. The plumpling rolls onto its back, feet in the air. Hours pass, or maybe minutes. Hard to tell here. Luma Vale doesn't measure time the way people do. Caro later takes Myron to a place she rarely shows visitors, a stepped hillside called the Glowstone Terrace. The terrace is covered in pale square stones that shine in soft waves, like pulses from a slow heartbeat. When you walk across them, the glow deepens under your feet. People say the stones remember every step ever taken on them, Caro says, but only if the step was peaceful. Myron steps onto the terrace. The stone glows warmly. They walk slowly, letting each step last a little longer than normal. The terrace responds with a gentle pulse at each footfall. The plumpling tries to hop, but ends up waddling instead, because the glow makes it too relaxed. Caro laughed softly. On Myron's final night in Luma Vale, the valley feels even softer. The lanterns glow a deeper gold. The trees sway in tiny arcs. The river hums like a slow dream. Myron sits outside the cabin, petting the plumpling soft fur. Caro arrives holding 2 warm cups. You leaving tomorrow? She asks. Myron nods. I think so, though part of me wants to stay forever. Caro smiles. Most people do, but the valley always knows when someone's ready to go. They drink their cups in quiet. The valley sings its nightly hum again, softer this time, almost affectionate. Myron feels it vibrate through their chest, slow and soothing. Sleep comes easily. The next morning, The sky glows pale pink. Mist hangs above the river like soft cloth. Myron packs their belongings. The plumpling watches with slow blinks, then nudges their boot. You can stay here, Myron says gently. The plumpling tilts its head, then curls up again. It seems content to remain. Caro walks Myron to the valley's path. Take your time leaving, she says. The valley doesn't like rushed goodbyes. Myron nods. Thank you for everything. Caro waves. Come back any time. The vale keeps doors open. Myron walks the path out of Luma Vale. The river stone in their pack glows softly, as if keeping a part of the valley with them. The air grows a little crisper, a little louder as they leave. But inside, everything stays calm. Luma Vale has that effect. Even after Myron disappears beyond the hills, Luma Vale continues humming its soft song. The plumpling hops around Caro's garden. The flowfin drifts lazily through the square-fold river. The glowstone terrace pulses slowly under the morning sun. And the valley waits, not impatiently, never impatiently. One day, another traveler will wander in, and Luma Vale will welcome them too.